Galaxies was that game that had voice acting,
Go get him.
AAA graphics and sick gameplay, when all we had in Web3 gaming were crappy 2D games that no one wanted to play. Except to make a quick buck, of course. But 2 years have passed and now they are in early access and were one of the first games to launch on Steam. But is the game any good? Is it worth to play Phantom Galaxies? Should you actually spend any time on this project? Goatfather here, and today we're going to cover Phantom Galaxies in 2023, and we're going to start with the most important aspect of every game, which is the gameplay. And when it comes to gameplay, Phantom Galaxy is solid. It's an action sci-fi shooter where you're like going in space, evading enemy missiles and shooting other ships down and that kind of stuff. To fight your enemies, you're either going to fight on ship form or mecha form, and you can swap between two forms, and that's a really cool mechanic. So when you are on ship form, you're going to have increased mobility, but your firepower is going to be limited, and when you are on Mecha, you're going to have more firepower, more options to engage on your enemy, but your mobility is going to be very limited. Then another thing that you have to take into consideration is the hit bar. Once your hit bar reaches a certain threshold, you're going to take damage over time, and there are a lot of actions like shooting and evading that are going to increase your hit level. Actually, I took a long time to understand this, and I died 3 times just because of my hit bar. Then when it comes to quests and PvE content, you're going to have a bunch of that. You have a lot of quests, a lot of side quests, a lot of stuff to do when it comes to PvE, and then you also have PvP. So if you're like a competitive player, you're also going to have a place where you're going to be able to fight other players. And if you're into the storyline and lore, look, you're going to have a bunch of that. Every NPC has voice acting and you can talk with them about a bunch of different subjects. So you can either be like me, where I skip every conversation and I just like have the necessary fundamental conversations to like complete quests and stuff like that, or you can talk with the NPCs about different subjects, okay, and learn more about the lore and the story of the galaxy and that kind of stuff. Then another cool thing is that when it comes to mechs, they have different classes and each class suits a different playstyle. So for example, I chose like a long range DPS, but if you're more like of a frontline player, then you can choose like the Buster, which is like a close range tank. Another thing is that you can also equip your mechas with different gear, okay, so you're going to have different rifles. Each rifle is going to have a different rarity, and I would say that's also really cool. So I would say that this is an action sci-fi game which also kind of fits into the RPG genre, because you can have a role, right? You're either like a long-range DPS or you're like a tank in space. Then when it comes to graphics, guys, the graphics are really good, I really like them. I think the team completely nailed it when it comes to this. But by now you must be wondering, if the graphics are this good, if the gameplay is this good, if the game is this good, why are the Steam reviews really negative? Well, I'd say that the game has really negative reviews on Steam for 2 main reasons. The first one is because it's an NFT game and everyone hates NFT games. So if you actually scroll through the comments, you're going to see that a bunch of people are going to have a negative review on the game simply because it has NFTs, okay? And that's like a phenomenon that has been happening for a while. So I would say that Web3 gaming has a really bad reputation because of all the scams that happened back in 2021 and that still happen nowadays, unfortunately, and because of that a lot of people hate NFT gaming. Then the second reason is because the game is on its early access, and as it is to be expected, the game has a bunch of bugs and is not optimized, okay? But look, a bunch of games had a rough start and then they recovered from that, and I can give you a clear example. Cyberpunk had a really rough start on its early access, and right now they have like 50,000 reviews and all the reviews are very positive, okay? So it is to be expected that the game when it launches has some problems, and yeah, Phantom Galaxies is no different than all the other games. And I didn't mention NFTs, right? So by now you must be wondering, what are the NFTs in Phantom Galaxies for? So you have 3 types of NFTs. You have the planets, avatars, and you have the starfighters. So if you have an avatar NFT and the starfighter NFT, you're going to have more options when it comes to customization, and you're also going to have like a special ability. If you're playing as a free-to-play player, then you're not going to be able to customize it as much, and you're going to have like a mecha that looks like every other mecha. I would say the NFTs are like the premium versions of the starfighters and avatars. Don't worry, if you don't want to spend any money, the game is completely free to play both on Steam and on Epic Games. And another thing is that the game is crossplay, so no matter which platform you're playing on, everyone is going to play on the same server. Then you also have the planet NFTs. So right now, the only thing you can do with your planets is play some dumb, boring mini game to earn some Astrofare, which is the token of the game. But in the future, accordingly to the white paper, you're going to be able to build stuff there, okay? And you're going to be able to earn more resources through your planets. Then you also have the crypto token Astrofare, which is a sort of like premium currency of Phantom Galaxies. So guys, by now you should have enough information to know if it's worth or not to play Phantom Galaxies on its early access, on its current state. And the answer is, from my perspective, yes it is. I would say that when it comes to space, sci-fi action games, Phantom Galaxies is the best option that we have right now in Web3 gaming. I would say that it's quite cool. Obviously it's going to have some problems because once again it's on its early access, but I would say that the game as it is, it's already playable and it's already quite fun. So that's Phantom Galaxy for you guys. Consider subscribing for more Web3 gaming content. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the metaverse.